The doorbell just went. That means I've got a new toy. Let me show you why I'm excited about it. It is always a happy day when something comes from EV Breakers. And it's a chonk as well. Although, it may not be quite so chonky once the packaging comes off. Let's get on the workbench and get it opened up. Welcome to my workshop, which I always tell people is just particularly messy at the moment. But we all know the truth. It's permanently messy because I'm always trying to do about 10 different projects at once. I think you're probably a bit like me. Here's our package. Let's grab a handy razor blade because everyone's always got a razor blade lying around, right? And get this opened up. Thanks to EV Breakers, I am never short of bubble wrap. If your view's a little bit restricted, it's because there are very low ceilings in here, and the camera is basically on the ceiling. It's a lot smaller once you get to all the bubble wrap. There we go. One Hyundai high voltage junction box with some very useful connectors on it. I'll show you why in a sec. First I have to roll up 25 feet of bubble wrap. Right. Retrieve something from the other side of the room, and you are going to find out at the same time as me whether I bought the right thing. Because this is my CCS and AC charger, also from a Hyundai, and this should look at that, clip on there, and this, where are you, there, should go in here. I think. It looks like it should, but it doesn't want to. 1 out of 2. Well, that's annoying. I really thought that... Oh, hang on. No. Yeah. I really thought that was going to go into there. Apparently not. Nonetheless, we have a nice connector for this. Oh, that locks. Now I need to unlock it. Cool. So the question is, what else is in here? Because I'm super curious. And that is what we're going to find out on this episode. Right, let's get this bracket off to start with. Never tried this camera angle before, so I'm hoping this works out. Let's find an appropriate bit. Maybe this one? Yeah. Annoyingly, I don't have a working gripper at the moment. Gripper, you know, my cheap Aldi or Lidl. One of these died. It might be better than nothing at all, we shall see. Nothing else, I've got a nice load of those. And 4 and 5 probably. Oh, hex heads. Are we going to have to, yeah, probably. Look at that. Yes, exactly as I hoped. Those look like some pretty decent chunky contactors. We may end up just reusing this as it is. It looks pretty simple to repurpose as long as we can find out what these other connectors are. So, what can we see? This is our DC input, which we'll need to remove. I think that looks like just a couple of, get our M10 out again. I mean, if you compare this to a BMW S box, it's pretty chunky, but it'll handle a lot more current, I suspect. Fourth one. Wonder. Try taking those out as well. Those are actually a different size. Or is it? I wonder if it's the bus bar below that's holding it in. Try disconnecting those two contactors. Yeah, that was it. So, little interlock connector underneath. I think press and pull. Pinch. It looks like that's the locking tab. So basically this is the CCS junction box, or high voltage junction box. Clearly it just does the contactors for CCS. It's a pretty meaty piece of aluminium for handling that, but I needed some more contactors, so I'm hoping these ones have got integrated economizers. Get some of the other plugs out. That one comes out nice and easily. That one comes out, should come out nice and easily. Just this one being a pain in the bum. Can we disconnect this to give us a bit more wiggle room? Might just clip that. 3 good chunky fuses there, going out to something, I don't know what. I like these little control plugs, that's very neat. So here's the same connector again that we can see from a different angle. Can we work out from this one how to remove it? I worked it out. You have to flip the connector over and push through there to release it. It'll be the same on this one, I suspect, but we'll have to take the connector out in order to do that. So look, there we have completely detached the high voltage connector that we can reuse for our CCS junction box. I don't think I'm going to reuse this. It's too big, it's too heavy, it's more significant than I need. I don't need all of these outlets, I don't need all of these fuses. I'm just going to strip out these contactors probably. I might use them here, could use them somewhere else. I'm going to strip out all the other components and yeah, I mean I might reuse the bus bars. This little segment here cut down might be quite nice, sit inside a smaller box. But yeah, the plan now is just to disassemble it all and look at my goodies. Maybe get a sense of what these contactors are. I love that it's all just modular, that it's not all stuck on a circuit board. It's just really simple. If you look at the external connector here, it goes direct to the contactor control, so there's no intelligence in here, it's all just directly controlled, making things really, really nice and simple. We can reuse that multi-way as well if I can find out what the matching connector is. This is a gold mine. I love this. Let's get it taken apart. Okay, that's it for those. Let's get a socket on the end of there. You had one. Extension on that. Right, let's get the rest of our connectors out. Well, thought that was loose for a second. So part of the reason I'm not going to use this is because most of my high voltage distribution will be done at the back of the car, and I'm going to want the this connector to be, sorry, most of my high voltage distribution is going to be at the front of the car, and I'm going to want that connector at the back of the car because my my charge port is going to be either where the current one is, behind the number plate, or it's going to be in the sort of C pillar. That's the alternative. Ideally in the C pillar, that's where I'd really like it. But it might have to be. Might have to be in the boot, effectively. There we go. 1, 2, 3. So where did the other one of these go? There. Again, Makita, anytime you want to sponsor me. It's pretty much 100% Makita tools on this channel. No, you're not 1,500 subscribers, but you know, you could help me do something about that. Let's get that one off the road. It is a very cool little case. You could absolutely, you'd need to find a way to fit a pre-charge resistor and relay and stuff. You probably couldn't use this very easily at the front of the car without some serious modifications. But it would look nicely OEM if you did. So I could use one of these for my, certainly this one, this chunky beast here. If I can find the other connector to that, that can be my battery connector out of my rear high voltage junction box. There you go. So, don't know what that connects to, but we can do some research. It's got all sorts of part numbers on it, which will make life easier. Nice reusable cable, give that a clean up. Let's get this gasket out of the way. Right, what do we need to get out? This is all really nice hardware. Intrigued by these fuses, I want to see how those fit. Where do you now come out? Look at that. Oh. Fuses, what are they rated at? You might be able to read it better than me. .40 amp. 40 amp, 3 40 amp fuses. Huh. Actually says it underneath. PTC 40A, 40A. Air compressor, PTC heater, and OBC, onboard computer? Don't know. But yeah, they're clearly of course actually I'm going to need DC distribution to those, so that's going to be quite useful actually. Spars. Right. Now we can get to this one. Get this nice. What will be our battery connector out. Suspecting that it's got some sort of clip on it. Interesting shaped bus bar. No, you can just stay there for now. Nice little short connector. Apologies if there's a slightly disconcerting angle shift, the battery just ran out on the camera. So, these are now held in by... It's really that size. Looks too small. Yep, that's the right size head. Let's see what our contactors are. Do you know what, you could totally reuse this box just as it is. I'm wondering whether actually that's something I do now. Do I mount this underneath? These are Panasonic AEVA1251 contactors. Let's look those up. Panasonic AEVA, what did I say? 1251. So these are £96.34 each online. Can we find a spec sheet? No, I don't want notifications from Panasonic. 12 volt coil, 250 amp rated. So up to 50 millimeters squared wire, can carry 250 amp continuous. tell me about what sort of current they consume while running. So 0.5 amp operating current. I'll do a bit more digging and come back to you. So I dug out some data sheets and Googled around a bit, because I'm not that confident reading data sheets. But the Googling around confirmed what I thought from reading the specs, which is these don't have an integrated economizer, which means they're fine for something like your CCS, your DC charging, which is what obviously this is used for, because you're not going to be running them for that long. But I might not use them as is for driving mode, basically. I'll stick with my Gigavacs, which have a much lower current draw for long-term running, and use those for that, and use these for my CCS junction box. I've been thinking about this while the camera's off. I am definitely not going to reuse this box as it is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take these connections off and use them to provide connections to all the stuff at the front. So I'm obviously going to have a battery box at the front of my car that's going to have a load of modules in it. It's going to have an integrated high voltage junction box. They'll be inside the probably steel, possibly aluminium, but probably steel of the battery box. And I'll have a bunch of outlets on it. I might use this one to connect, if I can find the other half of it. Use this one to connect from here to the battery box. I'll need another one to go from the battery box to the inverter, and then I'll need smaller ones like this. I mean, I have to be honest, if I could find the other halves of these cheaply, I'd be very tempted to buy another one of these and sell off the contactors and the bits I don't need. Depends how much the matched connections cost, because this would be ideal for, or this would be ideal for hooking up my PTC heater, for hooking up my air conditioning pump. Those are the only two things I need, I think, apart from the inverter. So I need one for the battery. I need a connection back to charging to the charger slash DC charging. I need a connection to the PTC heater, and I need a connection to the air conditioning pump, assuming I do keep the air conditioning. So yeah, the nice thing about this is I am still thinking, do I use this? Then this could be my connection forward to the battery box. But these connections would be redundant, but I could just block those off, and all of these fuses would be redundant because it'd be entirely the wrong part of the car. So actually much better to take the bits out of this, put this at the back. But I can use these nice fuses, and I might actually take a lot of this plastic hardware out and use that in my junction box front. I mean, umming and ahhing now. Do I swap these contactors out for equivalent ones that have got economizers in and put this at the front? Because if this was at the front, do I buy another one of these and put that at the front? Also a possibility. Okay, this is my haul after a bit more of a strip down. Got a bunch of bus bars, there's a few off camera here, which can be straightened out, cut, reused. That's my phone going. Which are quite useful, so I can reuse that. Some of them with nice wrap on. I've got this piece here, so I'll probably cut this up. Got a bolt there to hold it down. I can probably fashion another one. and these fuses, which would be great for distributing. So one for the charger, so there's like a fuse the input from the charger, one way to do it, I guess. One from the well, actually with V2L it's obviously going both ways, so that sort of makes sense. So 340 amp fuses for what is it, aircon, PTC and charger, and that'll can be chopped up and bolted down nicely. Got a few nice little junction wires for this to route these out to somewhere. Those can be chopped up, re-terminated to go to the exit of my battery box. I've got my contactors. Great, perfect. I will use those for my CCS junction box. Nice. I've got my connector for my DC charging. That works nicely and connects with this. And that's kind of where it gets a bit complicated, because a bit of Googling around, what I've learned is these connectors are not, Amphenol, not anything standard. They are provided by a company called Ura, who actually makes that high voltage junction box and a lot of looms for Hyundai Kia. And you cannot buy the matching connectors for these. And so if I do want to get hold of them, I'm going to have to buy looms. And that might be useful in places, but also it means that I've got, then I've got to find some way to terminate the other end of the wires, because they're almost certainly not going to be the right length. They're almost certainly not going to have the right connector on the other end. And so these bits might not actually be very useful. I've only looked at this one so far. I did a bit of digging on this one, and I can't find anything on that so far other than trying to find matching looms. And actually I haven't been able to find any matching looms from the same car yet. I can have a chat with a few breakers yards, see what they've got, see if they'll do me a deal. But yeah, without those looms, unfortunately these connectors are not very helpful. So this is the prize. I mean, it's just kind of what I bought it for. These are the absolute bonus, which is great. Those are, what is it, 90 or 100 quid a piece. So very pleased to have those. And that, these are the things that really, at the core, I've got out of it. But actually, this, I think a lot of this I can reuse as well. Certainly this piece with the fuses. So that's quite neat and tidy. What I'd do if any of these fuses blew is less clear. Do these? Yeah. I don't know if you can buy those fuses. I'll have to look that up to see if you can actually buy a replacement. Fingers crossed I never need a replacement, but fuses are there to blow, aren't they? So you never know. And obviously I can use if I can use these connectors, certainly with this connector, I can reuse the interlock connectors and the control plugs for these. So those will come out. I can take this loom apart. I haven't actually looked for the matching plug for this yet. I'll have a dig around, but I suspect this is just another Ura part. So I'm going to keep looking for looms, but other than that, that's what you get out of a Kia Niro junction box. And if you've got the matching charge port with this dirty great connector, then I think this is a very useful thing to have. If you're building a CCS junction box, then these are a very useful thing to have. And if you want some nice fuses for the rest of your ancillaries, your high voltage ancillaries, then those are a very nice thing to have. All in, I paid £80 for this. I think that's a pretty good deal. There's a few out there on eBay for about £100, £110. Might be worth a cheeky offer if you'd like to get yourself some nice contactors, a connector, and some fuses. And that's that. So that's it for this little episode, a slightly unusual one. Thanks for watching. Please do like and subscribe if you're into EV conversion stuff and want some more of my amateur hacking around. There are obviously more professional channels out there, but you get to see me making mistakes and learn along with me. So yeah, thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one. Bye bye.